Hey everyone, I hope you all are doing well. Myself Patel and I welcome all of you to a new video of the Dynamics 365 series. And today in this video we are going to talk about plugins, right? So I have come up with a requirement in Dynamics 365 and this is a quite frequent requirement which always comes up, and we are going to be talking about this requirement and we will develop this entire scenario with the help of the Dynamics 365 plugin. So as you can see, I have opened up the CRM software on the screen and now I'm going to click on new. So we are basically on the account entity right now, and as you can see here I have created one field called account ID. So this is the field which I have created and it's a single line of text data type field. And what I want to do here is that whenever I create a new account, I want to generate a random account ID, right? This is the requirement which I have, and this will be a unique account ID for each and every account I create. So this is something which we want to do. I know that you might be thinking that we can also do this thing with the help of the auto numbers. Definitely yes, but today we will be discussing about that, how we can do or implement this thing using the plugin, right? So let me just show you how it will look like. So we are basically going to have initial as ACC, then dash, and then the number is going to be like this. So we will be having 5 digits after the initials, and this is how the ID of our first account would look like. So this is the requirement which we have. All right, so let's jump onto the Visual Studio, and as you can see I have already created one project called as generate account ID, and I have a class called account ID. I have already installed the packages which are necessary for writing the code, such as XRM assemblies, core assemblies and everything. So I have installed them already, so we can directly go on to writing the code and just check it out. And I have also signed in this assembly from here, so that is also done. So we are just remain to write the code. So let's start it. I will start by writing I plugin. So we are implementing that. Now let's write the name of the method, public void execute. All right, and I service provider. I hope that you are aware about the basics. So we are starting from the very basics in this code right now, and meanwhile while writing the code I will explain each and everything to all of you, right? So now I'm going to implement the plugin execution context in order to just get the target entity. So let's write that I plugin execution context is equal to, let's make a bracket, I plugin execution context, then service provider dot get service. Yes, we can just write tab. All right, now I will try to get the service factory. So for that I will write I organization service factory. This will help us to create the service object, right? Is equal to this I organization service factory service provider dot get service, and let's press tab. All right, not this one, get service. Let's write type all right. Now I will create my service, right? So for creating the service, what I will have to write, yes, you're right. So we have to write I organization service is equal to, I'll use service factory for creating the service dot create organization service, and we will take the user ID from the context. So let's write that. All right, so we are pretty much done with this thing. Now let's move forward. Now, what I want to do here is that I want to check that whether the operation is create or not, because I only want to execute this plugin with the operation type is create and when the entity is account, because we want to perform this operation on the account entity. So I have to mention one condition here. So what I will write here is if, okay, I will take the message name, or we can say the operation type from the context, because context contains all this data like the name of the entity, what type of operation is it, and all that information, right? So we will write that message name and let's convert it to lower. So just as to make sure that we always compare the, you know, right operation, and it should be create. All right, and another condition I want to add here is that context dot primary entity name dot to lower, if it is not equal to account, then also I would not like to move forward, so I'll just return. All right, so this is the condition check which I wanted to perform. If context dot message name dot to lower is not equal to create, or context dot primary entity name dot to lower is not equal to account, then in that case we would not like to move forward. Now let's add another condition here, which is for checking if the context does not contain the target object, then in that case also we would not like to move forward, because if we are not, you know, getting any entity in return, then there is no meaning of moving forward, right? So I'll write another condition, if context dot message name, sorry, not message name, context dot input parameters dot contains, I will mention target here. All right, so if it does not contain target, so I have to mention not condition here, then in that case also I would like to return. All right, so this is the condition which we have mentioned. So what will it do? It will check that whether the target is present or not. Let's say if the target is present, then this will be true, but since I have not condition, so it will convert it to false, and we will ultimately move out of this if statement, and this return will not get executed and my rest of the code will get executed. But let's say that if we have not found the target from the context, then in that case it will make this condition false, and since we have a negation mark, it will convert it to true ultimately, and then it will execute the return statement and we will not move forward to execute the rest of the statements, right? So our main goal here is to make sure that if the context does not contain the target object, then in that case we will not be moving forward, because if we do not have any kind of input parameters when the create operation is getting performed, then in that case we would not like to move forward. So that's why it is important to, you know, mention this type of condition. It is always a best practice to mention the conditions while you're working with the Dynamics 365 plugins, because it makes things easier for you and your code also becomes, you know, efficient. All right, now, so since it contains the target, let's assume that it contains the target. So in that case, we would like to move forward, right? So I will now write entity target. We will do the typecasting. So I'll write entity. All right. And this we'll write context dot input parameters. What I would like to have. So we can say target. So now what we are doing here is that we are trying to convert the target object into the entity type, and that's why I have declared it as entity target. And by using the typecasting, I'm converting the target into the entity object, right? This is what we are doing here. All right, let's move forward. Now what I want to do here is that this is the basic, right? This is the basic which you have to follow in almost all the plugins. From here we will be writing the actual logic. What we want to do here is that we first want to fetch the previous account, because see, whenever you are creating a new account, you want to generate this account ID, right? You want to increment it for each and every account because we want the account ID as a unique number, and for that it is important for us to check that what was the account ID for the previous account, and in order to know that, we need to fetch the account first of all, right? So for that I will be using the query expression. So let's use it. So we'll write query expression, query is equal to new query expression. All right, and then we want to perform query for the account entity, so we will be writing here account. This is the first step. All right, after doing this, I am again going to write a query, which is query dot. Now for account also, we want to check specifically for the column. Which column? Account ID. So whatever the logical name of the account ID is, we will be using it. So let's check the logical name. It is this one. All right, so we'll be using this logical name. So query dot, we'll be using the column set keyword is equal to new column set, and let's write the name of the column set here. All right, great. Now let's move forward. So we have already also got the account ID, we have queried the account entity as well, and now we want to identify the latest account record, right? Because we are going to generate the account ID for our new account which we are creating from the previous account which was already created before the one which we are trying to create, and we want to fetch that particular account. So for fetching it, we will again have to write a query. So query dot, I will use a keyword called add order, and then I will just write the name of a field called created on. So as you know that created on always will help us to get our accounts in the descending order. So I will use order type here dot descending, as simple as that. So what it will help me to do, it will basically help me to get the accounts in the descending order, because I am just preparing their order in the using the field called created on. Okay, after doing this thing, I only want the first account, so I will write query dot top count is equal to 1, so it will only return me one account. All right, and now I want to store my result, so I'll write, and I'll store it in entity collection. Result is equal to, we'll be using service dot retrieve multiple, and then just pass the query inside it. That's it. All right, so now we will be getting our result into this variable. After this, now I want to perform the next operation of fetching the number and then performing the operation upon it, right? So in order to do this, I will declare a variable called int next number, and we will declare it as 1. So this is our starting point, right? And now we would like to mention one condition as well. Let me just increase the size. Yes, which is if result dot entities dot count is greater than 0, all right, in that case only I would like to move forward. If it means that if I would not have got any result, then in that case I would not like to move forward. It is as simple as that. And let's say that we have got the result and we are in the if statement now, so we would be writing, we would like to get the latest account. So let's write last account is equal to result dot entities, like this. All right, so you'll get the result. Now another condition, if my last account contains, all right, if my last account contains my account ID, which is JV underscore account ID, and let me just mention it in, okay, 1 second. All right, if it contains that, then in that case we will like to move forward, And now what I want to do here is that if my account contains this particular column, then what I want to do here is that I want to convert it into a string. So let's declare a string variable called last number, and what I will do, I write last account dot, will try to get attribute in the string format, and the column name is JV underscore account ID. All right. So we have got our last number in the form of a string, and let's move forward. Now I'm again declaring one variable string num in order to fetch the numeric value from this particular string. So we'll write last number dot, I'll replace the initials with the space. So what it will help me to get, it will only allow me to get the number, this rest of the number. All right, that's it, as simple as that. All right, and now I want to convert it into an integer value. So for that I'll declare one integer variable called parsed, and then we will add a condition for parsing it. So let's write if int dot, will write try parse, and then we'll pass the number, the string variable, and then out parsed. So it will contain the integer value, right? So let's move forward, and then what I will do here is that I will put the value in the next number as parsed plus 1. So what it will help me to do is that I have converted my string into integer value, and after converting it into integer value, I'm incrementing it by 1 so that we are getting a new number. All right, so this is it. Now let's move forward and create our new account number. Okay, and for that I will have to use this initials, and I will use next number. I'll convert it to string again because it is in the form of an integer. All right, and I want to do a little bit of padding because I want it to be a 5-digit number. So let's do that as well. All right, and after doing this, what I'm going to do next is I will put it inside the column value, which is JV underscore account ID is equal to new account number. As simple as that. So we have written the entire code, and now we are finally assigning the value of the new account number to the account ID value, right? Let's save it up. Let's build this solution. All right, and now we will open the XRM toolbox. So in XRM toolbox, as you know, we can register our plugin. So I have opened this tool, I have installed this tool called the plugin registration tool, and here I will register my assembly. Okay, this is what we are going to do. Okay, so for registering our assembly, I have to click on register. Let's click on register new assembly, and what I will do here is I'll just go right click here, open file in file explorer, bean debug. Let's copy this path. Let's go to XRM toolbox, and here it is, right? We'll just select it up and register this plugin. All right, so the plugin is registered. Now we have to register the step. So here I'll go right click, register new step. The message will be create. Primary entity will be account. Since this is not an update operation, I'm not going to filter out the attributes, so I will keep it as a pre-operation and it will be synchronous. Let's click on register new step, and as you can see here, the step is registered. All right, now let's go to our CRM. I'll clear the logical names. Let's do a hard refresh. All right, and let's see whether it works or not. All right, so I'm going to create a new account now. Let's click on new, and let's give a name to our account, and let's click on save. All right, as you can see here, the account ID is auto generated, and this is as simple as that. Let's do something more. We will create another account. Let's click on new, and this time the account ID should be 2, right? So let's give it a name, and let's click on save. So this time we will have 2, right? Great. So as you can see here, it is 2 now. So it was very simple, right? You can also write another logic in your JavaScript, or maybe using your business rules to log the account ID field if you want. So, or maybe you can just directly go on the form and you can just log this field, so that not to allow the end user to, you know, edit this field after creating this particular record. So you can just, you know, log this field on the form if you want, right? So, but this was a very simple scenario where we discussed that how you can generate the account IDs, right? I hope that you are able to understand the logic here which I have performed. First of all, I have used the query expression. We used the query, and by using that particular query, what we did is that we got the top count from the descending order, and by doing that we have got the latest account, and from the latest account we have been using the query expression in order to get the account ID. And then by getting the account ID, we are first removing the initials from it, and after removing the initials we are converting it into the integer, and after converting it into the integer we are just incrementing it by 1, so that we are going to get a new account ID which is going to be unique from the previous one, right? So I hope that you liked this video and you understood that how Dynamics 365 plugins can help us in managing this type of scenarios for generating, you know, account ID or maybe contact ID or whatever type of ID you want to create for your records. So with that, thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe to this channel if you do not want to miss any update from my end. And also make sure to, you know, share this video with your friends who are working on Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. Thank you so much.